living things, whether they're animals or plants, they're all made up of different chemicals. Now, examples of these chemicals include water and proteins. When you were in S3, you've learned quite a bit of these different chemicals. Do you remember any of them? Great! In this chapter, we are going to focus on the chemicals listed here, which includes water, inorganic ions or minerals, carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids. First of all, let's start by talking about water. Water is important for several reasons. The first reason is it acts as an important reactant in many chemical reactions, whether in humans or plants. Without water, these cannot happen. One example would be in plants, carbon dioxide react with water. Do you remember this reaction? Another example found in humans is when complex food molecules react with water to be broken down into simpler food molecules. This is important in the digestion of food. Another importance of water concerns the fact that many things can dissolve in water. These things include sugar, salt, and amino acids, basically whatever the body needs. Let's say you have a tree that is really tall and it's trying to get something from the soil. Now, these minerals in the soil, because it's soluble in water, the water can bring it up to the top of the tree. Water is a good medium of transport to transport different things among the body. Similarly, in humans, let's say you've got some food in your intestine. You want to distribute it to different parts of your body. You can use water, or in our case, blood, which is mainly made of water, to do the transport. Next, let's imagine a scenario where it's a really hot day and the sun is right next to you. What happens is you'll start sweating. Sweating helps cool you down because water is a good cooling agent. It can help keep the temperature of our bodies. Next, let's further think about how water is important for plants. Now here we have a plant which is nice and healthy and it stands upright because it has enough water. But this one without enough water cannot stand up properly. So we can see that water is actually really important for plants because it helps support it. Support means allowing organisms to stand upright, as in the case of these two plants. Another factor which is related to support is buoyancy. Think about a fish swimming in the sea. Because water provides buoyancy, the fish in the sea and also other marine organisms can float in water. Next, let's look at some mineral ions or inorganic ions. The first one is nitrate. Nitrate is important to plants because nitrate contains nitrogen, which is an element in making protein in plants. In animals, we get protein from feeding. Next, we've got magnesium. Magnesium is important to plants because it's the element that makes up chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what keeps the leaves green. Next, we've got calcium. Calcium gives you strong teeth and strong bones. You've learned that last year. Finally, we've got iron. Iron is important because it makes up hemoglobin. If you still remember, hemoglobin is the component in red blood cells which carries oxygen. Next, we are going to learn about organic constituents. The first one is carbohydrates. Do you remember anything about carbohydrates? Here are some examples. Do you remember what they are used for? Glucose is used as an immediate source of energy. Starch is used as energy reserve in plants. Glycogen is used as energy reserve in humans, and cellulose makes up the cell wall. Next, we've got lipids. As far as lipids are concerned, we've got two types. The first one is called triglycerides, while the second one is phospholipids. Triglycerides are fats and oils. Do you remember what their functions are? Here is a review. Next, we've got phospholipids. Do you know what its functions are? Phospholipids are an important component in cell membrane. We'll learn more about phospholipids in Chapter 3. Next, we've got proteins. Do you remember what proteins are used for in the human body? They're used for growth and repair of body tissues. They're used for making enzymes which cause chemical reactions to happen. And they're also used for antibodies, which help us to fight against diseases. Finally, we've got nucleic acids. You may not be so familiar with them, but I'm sure you've all heard of one of them, which is DNA. Another type is RNA. DNA contains our genetic information, which codes for your characteristics, such as what color of hair you have. RNA, on the other hand, is involved in the process of making proteins, making our body structure. You will learn more about these chemicals in later chapters.